How should you position yourself in this last hour of trade? We have Ashwani and Mitesh now joining us for closing strategies. Good afternoon, Ashwani. Your call on index and your stock calls?
Well, same script every day. Great open and then it collapses middle of the day. See, it's very simple. If everybody has picked up the FPO and QIP money, there is no money to take this market higher, and that will remain a problem. You can get short covering, etc. But beyond a point, you are not able to show follow through. That follow through will come once all this fundraising is out of the way. So that way you have to find winners for the day. Individual stocks, Hindalco is a buy with a stop of 178, target of 192. You have TVS Motors, which is a buy with a stop of 430, target of 455. And Shriram Transport is a buy with a stop of 688, target of 710.
Okay, all right. Those are trades that Ashwani is going with. Let's bring in Mitesh as well. Good afternoon, Mitesh. It's all about individual stocks today. What are your trades?
Good afternoon. So I think, we once again failed at upper end of the range, but as you rightly said, it's a market which is clearly driven by stocks. Specifically, you were highlighting some names at the beginning of the show. I'll add an L&T to it. I think it was a buy early in the day, and I'm repeating the buy because there's a fresh breakout which has happened above levels of 970, 975 zones. So that's a buy with a stop at about 964 for targets of 1010, and MRF is another one. The Apollo Tyres has done extremely well. That was a recommendation a few days back. I think MRF is just breaking out today. That's a buy with a stop at 62,600 for targets of 66,000.
Okay, well, that's MRF. Across the board, there's been a big move in auto and auto ancillaries, and that is where we are focusing our energy on in terms of stock 360. Let's play out the stock 360, and today's stock 360 is a no-brainer. It's Ashok Leyland. Now, first, let's look at what the price move has been. Of course, today it's up 13%. This week, it's up about 25%. This year, it's down 25%. Despite a 25% rally, it's down 25% for this year. Now, what are the reasons for this rally? The conference call this morning and the fact that the market was positioned, and you've seen the move in Motherson, you've seen the move in Bharat Forge. The market knew it was a washout quarter. It was a washout quarter, so there was no rocket science involved there. But the fact that they're talking about improvement and the commentary is reasonably strong has led to this move. SP Tulsian of sptulsian.com and Amrish Baliga now join us. Good afternoon. Mr. Tulsian, is it irrational exuberance on part of market in terms of what's happened to Ashok Leyland today, or do you think it's perfectly justified?
Anuj, apart from the irrational exuberance, I think it defies the rational or way of the sanity of investing, taking an investment call. Now, I've heard you saying in the morning, and now also you have repeated that the more the bad results, the share will keep going up. Ashok Leyland, Bharat Forge, you have cited 4 or 5 examples. And I fully agree. Now let me just give you an example of Aditya Birla Fashion. This is just an example that came out with the results. Loss is 550 crore. Firstly, we are all seeing the net losses of all these companies, which is where the negative PAT is much lower than the negative PBT. But because of the deferred tax credit, which I always say that it is an illusionary, there's a book entry, the PAT is seen to be looking lower. That means the losses are seen to be looking lower. So just to give an example of Aditya Birla Fashion, the loss is 400 crore, but the actual PBT is about maybe negative 550 crore. Now, if you go by this logic, that means these companies are not having net worth of say 10,000 crore, 15,000 crore, 20,000 crore. And we all know that the next one quarter, that is at least for the running quarter, the things are equally seen to be bad. So they are in fact losing on their net worth also. That means the borrowing will increase, the interest cost will rise, and I don't think that the recovery will be seen for the hospitality, hotel, aviation, multiplexes, fashion and retail space and all these things at least till December, maybe to the full-fledged level. And even if you presume that yes, the things will improve, that means we are playing on the revival of the economy in a very big way, which will be more beneficial maybe for the sectors like IT, or maybe the like pharma, or maybe like automobile, or maybe like FMCG kind of things, which have already shown the respectable results. So I think that apart from the irrational exuberance, this is in fact contrary to the rational way of picking up the stocks. The things may improve, things may last for a few days. See the exuberance in the pharma space. We have talked on Monday, and I cautioned on Monday, and after that, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are seeing the fall in the pharma shares. In fact, all the pharma results are seem to be coming quite good. Auto pharma is case in point where the results are seem to be much better. Debt has reduced, but the stock is down by about 5%. We may attribute this as a technical positioning, but that's very simple to attribute. So I think this kind of what you call contrary to the rational way of picking up the stocks may not last. In case of Ashok Leyland, the results came in yesterday evening. Consensus was that it was worse than the expectation. Share was weak, maybe till 10:15 or 10:30, and then suddenly you see the buying. 21 crore shares, of which about 5-6 crore shares have got marked for delivery. You do not know when the strong hands will get out. So yes, the risky things are seen prevailing in these stocks where the caution is very much required going forward.
All right. Irrational exuberance, a phrase often associated with the market on both ends of the spectrum, on the way up and down. By the way, those are some interesting flashes coming in from Sanjeev Sanyal. We will play out that interview that Shireen did in just a bit for you as well. I think the most operative statement that we've got from him is that he says there is still room on both the sides, fiscal as well as monetary. Right now, measures have only been a cushioning impact of sorts for the pandemic. More from Sanjeev Sanyal coming up in a bit. But let's bring in Ambrish Baliga into the conversation as well. Ambrish, let me throw in the other two auto-related plays. We've seen the same move with Bharat Forge and with Motherson Sumi. Today, we're seeing it with Ashok Leyland. Mr. Tulsian gave his viewpoint over there. What about the other two stocks?
No, see, today, I think the market is so bullish that even the weak results are brushed away, saying that this was due to COVID. And now that it has, we got a lower benchmark, going ahead, things would be better. And at the same time, people are saying at least the uncertainty is out of the way. And especially where the management commentary is positive, I think the market clearly latches onto that. And especially as far as Bharat Forge and Ashok Leyland is concerned, I think that news of Atmanirbhar Bharat, where defense supplies would be bought more from India, at least 101 things. So from that point of view, people have taken it as positive for Ashok Leyland and Bharat Forge. But I believe, yes, for Bharat Forge, it is surely positive. But as far as Ashok Leyland goes, I don't think defense ever bought Chinese trucks. They used to buy Tata Motors or Ashok Leyland, I think that should continue. Although I had a buy call on Ashok Leyland at 40, a couple of months back, and my target is still about 70, 75. But then I didn't expect it to move on. News of this sort, But at the same time, I think possibly, it's time it could correct a bit. But my longer-term target still remains at about 70, 75 for Ashok Leyland.
Point. Now let's do one thing. Let's address a couple of more issues and then we'll toss them to our guests. Key earnings expected tomorrow. Voltas. Now this is one stock which moves really big on earnings, and that's why it's important to keep the market positioning and also the expectations on your radar. Mangalam will tell us the expectations and then we'll talk about the positioning. Mangalam?
That's right, Anuj. Just as far as the stock price is concerned, it's recovered almost 43% from its March lows. This time around is the first quarter, which is also the summer quarter. So it's a washout quarter, which is expected as far as Voltas is concerned. We saw it in the numbers of Blue Star as well. Managements have been finding it extremely difficult to quantify the impact, and which is why the analyst estimates are also very wide. Some are expecting a 60% decline, some are expecting a 50% decline, and some a 70% decline in terms of the revenues. And as a result of which, a lot of them are also expecting that the company posts an EBITDA loss and a net loss. But if you take a look at what the majority of the street is working with this time around, we're working with a decline of almost 59 to 60% on the company's top line. The EBITDA actually declines by almost 93 odd percent. So the number that the street is working with this time around is close to around 20 odd crores. And as a result of which, the net profit all but eroded. A 92% decline out there is also what the street is working with. The number you're looking at is close to 13.5 odd crores. Though remember, there is a wide range of estimates. So maybe this perhaps may not be the best guess of what the entire street is expecting. The room AC business or the unitary cooling products business is expected to show a decline of almost 50 to 60%, and that's because of high dealer level inventory. And the enterprise business, the office as well as institutional business, that will also be suffering because of the lockdown, because most of the project sites were shut. And at the same time, there have been issues with regards to migrant labor crisis as well. Blue Star in its commentary did say that they are seeing things gradually improving. So let's see what the management of Voltas has to say. More than the numbers, my sense is management commentary would be extremely important.
Okay, Mangalam, thanks a lot for that. Now, Mr. Tulsian, it's no longer at 450. It's had a rally. But what would be your thought process on Voltas?
See, generally, if you see the situation for the air conditioners, because Voltas is still termed as an air conditioning company, the things are not seen to be very good, at least till the December, because the monsoon and the winter season will be seen approaching, and then thereafter the things will be all seen to be quiet for the companies. Their project division is not seen to be doing quite well. So maybe yes, you are right. The share is not ruling at 450 levels. But again, if the sanity does not prevail, if the results are seen to be bad, more than expected, higher the losses than expectation, and share moves up by 8 to 10%, I'm not. I have no reason or no explanation to justify that irrational move or maybe irrational exuberance. But yes, I don't think that fundamentally, because you have many other sectors available now where the growth is seen to be clearly visible in the next 2 or 3 quarters. So definitely an avoid, and better to see the results and then take a call.
Okay, by the way, L&T, which was a buy call given by Mitesh on the trading side just a while back, that's a stock you really can't ignore. Almost 3.5%, 4% now, pushing with a lot of momentum, 984 on L&T. Mr. Tulsian, just a word on this one as well. I mean, I don't know if it's part of the same momentum, the mood of the market, but at these levels, as it gets closer to 1,000, is it worth looking at?
Surabhi, in fact, L&T has been lying low for maybe last about, I think, more than 12 months. And if you see their all verticals, defense, infrastructure, maybe capital goods kind of things, they are all seem to be doing quite well. And in fact, if you see such a kind of revival in the economy, and maybe more especially on the defense front, and more especially on the infrastructure front, I think that they will be seen having advantage, because everything is seen to be in place for them. And apart from that, their subsidiaries are all seen doing well, more especially the 2 IT companies, L&T Infotech and L&T Technology Services. So yes, the things are seen positive, and I think that the way we have seen the IT stocks overall, maybe 2 IT twins having got re-rated, the same kind of upset may be seen in case of L&T as well.
Okay, well, that's on L&T. Amrish, what have you made of this big move in, say, BHEL? I remember we were discussing this with Sushil. It was his technical pick on Tuesday. But fundamentally, would you buy BHEL at 40?
Fundamentally, again, from a very long-term perspective, possibly yes. Basically because they had faced major competition from Chinese companies, and now with this ban on Chinese companies as far as capital goods go, I think should be beneficial for BHEL, but I don't think you'll see this action as far as the financials are concerned in the next possibly 3 to 4 quarters. It could be much after that. So sentimentally, it has moved. It can possibly move to levels of about 48.50. But then I suppose if it has to move fundamentally, I think it'll take a while longer.
Oh yeah, it's been in a secular decline for the past 3-5 years at least. BHEL hasn't seen its heydays after the 2008 run perhaps. Anyhow, let's quickly take a break on that note. The conversation is going to continue. We'll come back on the other side to discuss more stocks. And of course, a reminder, we also chat with Vaibhav Sang.